listen to us. This event is an event by the Voices for Just Climate Action, an alliance of 6 partners, and I'll let you know more about it. But before we get into it, I'd like to invite the panelists that are going to be with us on this event. We have 2 VCA partners, Margaret from Gaio. Please come in front. Then we have Genevieve, a donor representative from USAID. And then we have Peter Copper from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They fund VCA, Voices for Just Climate Action, and I'll let you know about it. And we have Sheila Patel from Slum Dwellers International, another partner of the VCA. So what is it about this event today that you're going to listen to? The Voices for Just Climate Action is, as it sounds, it's about amplifying local voices of communities or groups that are often not on the decision-making table, but suffer the most impacts of climate change. Yeah? And the program is about amplifying those voices that are never on the stage of decision-making. And for us, the COP is the highest stage for decision-making. What we decided is to bring those voices in video. So today we are going to watch those videos of those voices, and we will have a discussion. The panel represents 2 alliance members, so these voices are coming from below, and 2 donors. And we are turning the discussion upside down. Normally, we wait for donors to tell us what they would like us to, which conditions to meet. In this panel, we are going to listen to them, understand their challenges of letting the financing reach us, so that we advise them on how best to get the financing to reach us, because we've talked about it a lot. Yeah? The flow of the discussion is going to be, the video is 27 minutes. We will run the video for the first 10 minutes, and then we'll have a discussion with 2 of our panelists, a donor and a VCA partner. Then we'll run the video for another 10 minutes, and we'll have the other panelists have a discussion. And then we'll run the final version of the video, and hopefully we'll have time for you to have a say also. The important thing here is that we are looking for solutions. The discussion has happened. We have made the case. Financing needs to reach. We have ideas from the local, but we are asking ourselves, why aren't these solutions? Why isn't financing reaching? And that is what the discussion is going to be. Yeah? So with that, without much further ado, because the most important thing is these videos for you to hear these voices. So I'd like to request the team, in the technical team, to run the first session of the videos. Yeah? Take notes, take minutes, and let us know how we can improve here. Thank you.
قبل كنا نزرعوا الشعير، نزرعوا القرفالة، نزرعوا العدس، نزرعوا الشلبانة، نزرعوا الفول، نزرعوا كل شيء. عمناو الوسنان فهم شيء. توا عمان ما فماش مطر. فماش مطر كل شيء شاح. كان تشوف الأوراق العنب والكرم كيف شاح ما فيهاش، حتى الأوراق ما يكسبوش. ما ينجموش يسقيوا الأرض الكل. النبح السقي عايش ولا كما توا هذا هو ينقي. الحلول يعطينا ربي مطر، ربي ما فما حتى حل كان مطر. الحل الكبير هو مطر.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Olwenyi, a climate and environmental activist from the indigenous community of Uganda, East Africa, and founder of Iweka Uganda.
I am Ocheng Daniel Olobe. an environmentalist and a project coordinator at Yowaka, Uganda.
Wetland restoration is the backbone of our project as a nature-based solution.
Our objective is to protect wetlands from encroachment and restore the encroached wetlands. We are doing this by promoting planting of bamboo trees along the buffer zones of wetlands. This is because they act as carbon sinks, but also they store high quantities of water, which is good for the survival of these wetlands. We are also promoting agroforestry, particularly planting fruit trees, which are good for food security, but also increasing carbon sinks in the environment.
Over the past decades, wetlands are seen as wastelands, yet they play a crucial role regulating the climate system. Due to climate change, we now suffer unpredictable shorter or longer rainy seasons, as well as droughts. Wetlands have been destroyed. Birds and tree species have vanished due to the effects of climate change and environmental destruction caused by human activities.
Karena sumber air ini kalau musim kemarau dia tidak ada. Kewalahan itu cuaca, kering daunnya. Ya, dulunya ini lebih baik, tidak terlalu seperti sekarang. Kewalahan saya itu mata air.
Dampak yang dirasakan petani menjadi bukti nyata perubahan iklim. Penurunan hasil panen akibat perubahan iklim menyebabkan petani kesulitan memenuhi kebutuhan rumah tangga. Di tengah situasi yang sulit ini, ternyata ada anak muda yang inisiatif bergerak menyelamatkan ekosistem pertanian dengan membuat pupuk organik.
Awal-awal tanah ini kan kalau kita tanam tanaman tidak bakalan hidup, bakal mati. Begitu kita pakai kompos kemarin, alhamdulillah, meskipun tidak sesuai dengan harapan kita hasilnya, tetapi masih adalah hasilnya. Nah, itu tahap pertama. Setelah itu pakai kompos lagi, mulai lagi ada peningkatan hasil panen kita. Gitu. Mumpung ada ilmu, kita bagi-bagi untuk kawan-kawan yang mungkin ada beberapa orang yang belum tahu cara pembuatan kompos. Maka ayo kita bergabung untuk pembuatan kompos.
I am Emmanuel Hanabi from Ghana, and the name of my local solution is Eco-Friendly Biochar. It is based in Cape Coast in the central region of Ghana, and the actors involved are farmers, retailers, wholesalers, middlemen, students, and consumers. The main climate change impacts my solution seeks to address is drought, and as we do that, we try to address or achieve food security. There is a need to upscale this solution because it is attracting a lot of attention. Some of the challenges that we do encounter are the means to transport the waste along the value chain to the sites for the biochar production. Thank you.
اسمي ناجي ديبر لقرات مقرقنة من سكان لقرات من الجزيرة. قبل كان بخيرات السبعة كما نقولوا، من أسماك، من إسفنج، من قرنيط، برشا أنواع نتاع أسماك انقرضت. أكثر حاجة فقدناها هي الإسفنج. 4 مناطق ولا 5 مناطق في جزيرة قرقنة يخدموا الإسفنج. الاسفنج هذا عندنا 7 سنين داخلين في 8 سنين وفاء تماما. هو نجريو على ورقة ضمان، ورقة ضوء، ولينا نجريو على حاجات، على خلاصات، وهو عايشين برا نقول. انا نقول لك عايشين بالرسمي، ما احناش خلق، ما احناش عباد، يلزم بالرجوليه نصفيو قلوبنا الناس الكل ونحاولوا باش نخليو على الاقل البحر نتاعنا يعمرنا.
Gente, aqui é a Vitória da comunidade Taparamiri e hoje eu, juntamente com meu colega Gabriel, vamos mostrar para vocês um pouco mais da história do manejo do pirarucu aqui na nossa comunidade.
Nossa comunidade iniciou no ano de 2000, porque nós como comunitários e lideranças sentimos a necessidade de preservar a espécie que estava em escassez. Agora, ultimamente, também está fazendo uma pescaria coletiva, que a gente decide aqui na comunidade que se aplicar o dinheiro na melhoria de vida das famílias. E esse produto é comercializado em Santarém, na Feira do Pirarucu.
Olha só, Júlio, eu tô aqui com o seu Gilberto, ele pratica o manejo desde o início e ele vai falar quais são os resultados do manejo de pirarucu aqui na comunidade. Para manter a economia aqui na comunidade de Taparamiri e para manter as espécies que não fiquem em extinção.
Principalmente a ajuda dos pescadores, desde o início, estão amplamente empenhados ao processo.
A tendência é melhorar o nosso estoque, né, que já vem melhorando, né? E esse estoque ele vai servir para a alimentação das famílias, né? O peixe, o pirarucu, como outras espécies, tambaqui, a tapitinga, o tucunaré, eles vão servir para o consumo dessas famílias. A gente tem trabalho. Existia sim, né? Existia na comunidade o pirarucu, mas ele estava quase extinto.
My name is Edna Kowenje from Ecolution Community-Based Organization in Kenya. As an organization, we carry out bamboo growing for ecosystem restoration in Ahero along Manyando in Kisumu County that is always prone to flooding during the rainy season. We do this with the help of women and youth farmer groups with the main aim of addressing the impacts of floods. There is need to upscale this project in order to increase the adaptive capacity and resilience of the communities that are always affected by the floods. Bamboo plant offers financial security after the sale of the bamboo byproducts, such as furniture and utensils. Bamboo also acts as a source of food, and thus there is need to upscale this project to other neighboring communities along the river. Our greatest challenge in upscaling this project has been inadequate financial capacity and inadequate capacity building in terms of project management and community engagement.
Ada kalanya hujan itu bulan Maret sudah berhenti, sehingga petani bingung. Ada kalanya dia sampai Agustus hujan, disitulah petani itu bingung.
Studi Koalisi Pangan Baik menunjukkan bahwa Desa Goloworok mengalami penurunan debit air selama 10-15 tahun terakhir. Dampak perubahan iklim sangat nyata dirasakan masyarakat Desa Goloworok. Kekhawatiran masyarakat apabila kopi dan cengkeh yang selama ini menjadi tumpuan hidup keluarga di masa mendatang akan tinggal kenangan. Kini saatnya petani, perempuan, anak muda, dan seluruh masyarakat Desa Goloworok bersama-sama merajut harapan baru untuk kondisi alam yang lebih baik. Menanam bambu menjadi langkah awal yang dilakukan oleh anak muda di Desa Goloworok. Sifat bambu yang mampu mengikat air dalam tanah diharapkan dapat memperbaiki ekosistem desa 10-20 tahun mendatang. Perubahan iklim tak hanya mengancam satu atau dua desa.
Great. So this is the first phase of the... Yes. So as you can see, this is not sophisticated, and they're diverse people. VCA is connecting 170 civil society coalitions already, and we want to connect more. All of them have solutions, and we have brought them to the fore. So I'll start with the first speakers, and that will be Margaret and Genevieve, the first panel discussion. I'll start with Margaret. As you can see, you represent these issues. Emphasize this, and again, let's emphasize them with what challenges of financing do you face and what solutions do you see need to be made to really get these solutions be done on a scale.
Okay, thank you so much. I must say that these are very commendable solutions, and there is one thing that we need to know. We, particularly the vulnerable countries, are the ones who face it, and we create our solutions. So you usually see that the countries that face other ones' solutions, you don't see other countries come to solve for them. So particularly for Gayo, we relate a lot because we, particularly in Ghana, where we have one of our stations, we have the northern part where there is real dryness, because ideally there's going to be one rainy season, but because of the imbalance in terms of how the rain goes, there is a lot of dryness, particularly in the north. So what we do as a kind of intervention is to create boreholes so that these people can have some water. because over there they are farmers and they need to also do things, but there's no water. As you even saw there, water scarcity has become a very big issue, particularly in that part of the country. And so what we do is to go there and to help them by creating boreholes, and as well with the women by giving them some kind of skills training so they can create some businesses. If you look at the southern part, the issue of plastic waste and the issue of lot of rain bringing in floods is something that is really predominant in the southern part. So what Gaio has been doing as a form of intervention is to help the communities that have a lot of waste issues by showing them how to segregate their waste, particularly in the form of composting, so that they don't have to now buy fertilizers, but they know how to prepare their own fertilizers. And as well, they know how to segregate their waste and even make items out of these wastes. So we can have communities that the waste pickers know how to segregate their waste, and they even taught how to create bags, aprons, shower caps out of these plastic waste. And these are things that, it's one way to be green, but the main issue, as they all said, has been financing. Because in as much as we try to reach the grassroots level, we cannot make a bigger impact if there are no resources. If you go to the grassroots level, there are a lot of vulnerable individuals over there, and you would want to help all of them because they all have the same issue. In fact, they all have unique issues over there. But the thing is, we try with our capacity to build their capacity to help them even create businesses out of these things we're saying. But the issue has been the financing.
Indeed, Margaret, what are you doing? What can we do to get that financing? From where you have been, how you have participated. We know the argument has been financing doesn't reach, but we know there's GCA, GCF, the government plans. What can we do knowing what we know? Quickly, 1 minute.
Okay. So one thing we need to know that is that in terms of financing, one issue has been the access. That has been one issue, has been the access. So how to get is making sure that this access is not so stringent. That is one. And ensuring that everyone has that right to that access, so that you do not have to have a big organization or institution or even a governmental something before you can have access to funding that is supposed to help in adaptation. But CSOs do not have that access. So it's very important to ensure that there are other ways that we also can have that access.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's move on to Genevieve. Yes, Genevieve, with what you have seen, you're designing programs to fund USAID. Do these come in mind, what you showed? Do you think about them? Or how do you take them into account in your programs?
No, thank you so much for all of this, and I think for the examples just now as well. I think for our part at USAID, I think this is exactly, my biggest takeaway from this video is the solutions are obviously there. They exist, right? We know so the big question is, how do you actually elevate these things in a funding process that's sometimes very convoluted, that sometimes takes climate and food security and views them as two separate things, when obviously, in real life, these are not two separate things. These are deeply inherently connected. And so I think, for our part at USAID, the big answer to that has actually been trying to place local communities at the very center of how not just the funding process works, obviously the funding process, but also how we think about planning, how we think about policy overall. So there has been a very intentional shift to try and put to try and elevate the voices of local communities in every step of the process. And it's hard. If we're being honest, there are real constraints in our procurement process that we face when we actually try and make this happen. And I think part of the way around that is to build a genuine ecosystem of sort of different levels of groups that are bringing local voices in, so that we can kind of deal with the fact that sometimes it's hard to actually get money to some of the very local spaces. So I think that one of the reasons that I'm very impressed by this kind of program is that it is fundamentally about pooling and bringing together different communities so that we can actually build that ecosystem much more sort of directly. And then I think it makes it a little easier for big institutions to figure out how to make the localization agenda that I think everyone believes in much more operational. Because I think the hard part is sometimes getting from the thing we believe in to the actual action to make it happen. And I think it's these kinds of efforts that get us there.
Thank you. We will get to Sheila and Peter in the next discussion. But yet, quickly, I wanted to follow up on this, Genevieve. Tangibly, you have programs, as you were said now. She is saying, they are saying they need more financing. So you're not connecting. You have programs? So with what you had, how would they follow you up tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, part of it, I think, is actually building the a bit more just personal connection to make sure that some of the programs that, if what we're trying to do is, again, genuinely put that kind of local communities at the center, part of it is making sure that groups like this are actually connected into the kinds of programs announcements that come out of that, right? So it's doing events like this. It's having conversations at COPs where we actually get the names and information for what's out there, so that we can get it to the right people when there are funding announcements. I think also there is just one point that I would make is if sort of one of the things we're trying to do is keep do no harm at the very center of everything. We need to make sure that we are in a space where sometimes when the local assessment of impact is different, it is sort of suggesting efforts that are different from the sort of drive to climate ambition, that we find a meeting point there. Because sometimes they're not, the sort of self-determined development solutions are not always going to be the same as the sort of climate ambition that we define. And I say this as an advocate for climate ambition, but I think we need to find in the climate space that meeting point between the actual priorities that are being defined within local communities and this overall sort of national level commitment that we've set. So the short answer is I think we just need to actually talk more, like get names and information.
Indeed. I think that's the point. Yeah. Already we are making connections. VCA partners, there are so many here. We are many and growing. This is already a connection we need to make. But through them, we are going to make more networks that you have. I think that's a key thing that I've picked from here. Thank you. And after here, we are going to follow up with Genevieve to find out how practically we're going to follow up with USA as VCA. Okay? So again, now would like to go into the next session, because for us, the most important thing are these videos, their voices to be heard. So Dana, you can continue, and then we'll come to Peter and Sheila. Yeah?
Affected communities, they're strengthening.
Bambu menjadi langkah awal yang dilakukan oleh anak muda di desa Goloworok. Sifat bambu yang mampu mengikat air dalam tanah diharapkan dapat memperbaiki ekosistem desa.
Which looked at increasing or improving the sustainability of the Mazabuga landscape in the southern province of Zambia. We managed to impact over 1,000 smallholder farmers, of which 30% were women. Based on the success of this program, we have managed to elicit a lot of interest from local leadership from different provinces in Zambia. However, despite deliberate and strategic efforts to fundraise and crowd in additional investments, access to finance remains one of the major barriers to scaling and replicating this locally led intervention across Zambia and beyond.
Hola, soy Araceli González de la Organización Paraguaya de Conservación y Desarrollo Sostenible, OPADES, y hace 10 años en Paraguay empezamos a implementar el programa de apoyo voluntario en áreas protegidas PAVAP. Iniciamos con una estrategia de conservación en el Parque Nacional del Cuy, en donde empoderamos a jóvenes y apoyamos a la gestión y el manejo del área protegida. En sus inicios llevábamos jóvenes a Asunción para llevar adelante las actividades, pero hoy día trabajamos fuertemente con la comunidad local y con jóvenes del Chaco paraguayo, apostando así al intercambio de experiencias entre jóvenes de diferentes puntos del país. Más de 800 voluntarios han pasado por nuestra organización y todos ellos desde sus lugares de trabajo hoy día siguen inspirando a más jóvenes a ser partícipes de este programa, a aprender sobre la naturaleza y a proteger y conservar nuestros recursos naturales.
Hello, my name is Mark Miller. I'm the coordinator of the reforestation project Agricultriz Chiquitania in Bolivia. The Chiquitania is a tropical savanna in eastern Bolivia that's been affected by major fires, severe droughts, and a growing deforestation activity since 2019. Local communities that depend on the forest for food supply and lifestyle have been greatly damaged. Because of ongoing agricultural expansion in the Chiquitania, local reforestation initiatives must include the introduction of sustainable, climate and land-friendly farming methods such as agroecology. The Agricultriz Chiquitania project is setting up new ecological home gardens in fire-affected communities and supporting forest restoration by planting 2,000 trees of different fruit and forest native species. This nature-based solution will recover part of the lost biodiversity, reinforce local food security, and support the long-term well-being of fire-affected communities. Their strengthening care and willingness to defend their forest will extend the project duration and upgrade the restoration activities in the Chiquitania.
Hi, my name is Kosa Abubakar from Lamu, Kenya, working with Lamu Women Alliance, implementing in the project of women inclusion in climate change. Currently in Lamu, we are vulnerable. Women are very vulnerable when it comes to climate change. In some areas in Lamu County, we are facing different climate change, experiencing like flood, drought, and even food security in some areas where there is insecurity is very high. Some local communities are currently engaging in climate smart agriculture in dry areas and mangrove rearing in areas near the sea. So we are hoping the CBOs, NGOs, and also CSOs and the government in general to boost the women business by buying the mangroves that they are rearing in near the sea areas, and also to provide friendly climate seedlings for the farmers due to insecurity issues in Lamu. We've been also not be able to help and assist some women in Lamu County. Thank you.
I am Bernard Katron, a youth leader secretary for Tsepalumo Community Forestry Association here in Kenya. I am promoting usage of clean energy that is biogas through construction of digesters within the community. And the main actors involved are my youth, age mates, chief, and extension officers from relevant departments, that's actually Ministry of Agriculture. The solution actually is addressing environmental conservation and food insecurity. With increasing household population yearly, there is need to scale up clean energy supply from village level to community level and also to the county level. Thus, aid in doing more productive roles as opposed to more time spent in collection of firewood. The main challenge therefore is limited development support, our partners and funds to capacity build community members on the importance of using clean energy.
Besides the fact that renewable energy is an effective tool towards climate change, its accessibility, affordability, and reliability is still an issue in slum areas.
Through interactions with other young people from different parts of the world, I realized that climate change was still a far-fetched idea and was far from realization in my community.
Providing a clean, affordable, accessible, and reliable energy to the slum dwellers through the use of organic briquettes produced from the organic waste. This will help create awareness on renewable energy and climate change. Initiating proper and improved garbage collection system will enhance sorting of the raw materials from the household level, transform the waste products into useful end products, which are the quality briquettes, sell them to various stakeholders, and in the process create self-employment.
My name is Oliver Modi, and
and I'm a co-founder of Zuripax. Zuripax is a social enterprise that champions for environmental conservation by preventing the use of plastic bags and non-woven bags in the urban informal settings. With the large population daily producing more and more waste materials, heaps and heaps of garbage has led to dump sites being found all over. This has resulted in serious health issues in the community whenever there is heavy downpour, because these plastic bags and the non-woven bags waste blocks the waterways. Houses get flooded, and in the process, lives are lost. The contaminated flooding water leads to spread of waterborne diseases. In our efforts to solve this problem, we came up with an innovative and cheap way of producing more environmental friendly and reusable carrier bags and packaging materials, which are very affordable. To enable us to fulfill all this, we are in need of both financial support for efficient and effective production, have a training and production space. We intend to address SDG 13 climate action. Thank you.
O Pin My Carroça está criando carroças do futuro para quem trabalha com materiais recicláveis.
Carroça elétrica, que ela vai beneficiar a gente, tirar mais lixo reciclável da rua, cuidar mais do meio ambiente e facilitar o nosso trabalho.
Em um ano de projeto, a renda mensal dos catadores aumentou em até 400% e sua capacidade de coleta triplicou, reduzindo suas horas de trabalho.
Estamos só começando. A gente testou protótipos em 5 territórios de São Paulo. O desafio agora é tornar as carroças acessíveis para um número cada vez maior de catadores. O maior impacto é na dignidade, saúde e autoestima.
Eu espero que todos tenham a mesma oportunidade que eu estou tendo. Todo mundo possa descansar melhor que eu estou descansando.
Ninguém deveria carregar 400 quilos nas costas. A tecnologia para trazer mais dignidade para o trabalho dos catadores já existe. O próximo passo é torná-la acessível para um número cada vez maior de pessoas com as carroças do futuro.
Great. Again, you can see the diversity of solutions by everyday people. Sheila and Peter, you are the next. So Sheila, I'll start with you. You are our champion on working in the urban areas, working with everyday people to find tangible solutions that can be done on a very large scale. I want to quote one of the articles you wrote in 2020, where you said, the article was written in New Narratives for a New Normal in 2020. I can see you're remembering it. You said, a predominant narrative remains one in which policymakers, women, are cast as vulnerable groups, placing grassroots women-led scalable solutions. The policymakers consider them a blind spot. They don't see them. Take it away. Tell us, what should we do?
So first of all, I want to congratulate you. It takes a lot of courage to make people watch 10 minutes of unedited, simple, non-glitzy videos. So congratulations. We are tired of seeing development ads. We have to stop it. We have to listen to community people saying honestly and caringly what their opinions are, what their problems are. That is the truth. The other very important thing to know is when there are so many years of big problems, they are not going to be magically resolved in a project. And so we thank you for your patience. You know, we are all living in a fairy tale world where we think one injection of some project is going to be transformatory. And then we all are complicit in telling lies and hiding the challenges, and we belittle the amazing hard work of poor people struggling to transform their own lives. So we all have to, and you know, now in the climate space, everything has to be done yesterday. Yet real change takes time. It is not going to be done because your calculations tell you. And so I think that our real commitment has to be for persevered long-term support that follows the process, that produces communities of trust and which produce legacies that other people can follow. That's what we believe in Slum Dwellers International. We follow communities for 20 to 25 years. It takes 20 years for an average slum dweller to get some negotiated security. And yet we have MDGs that pretend that they have done this and that and what. That's not happening. So I feel that those of us who work on the ground, those of you who are our intermediary partners, and those who are the representatives of people who give us the startup money for what we need, we have to work together to say the same thing. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Sheila and Slum Dwellers International is helping us work better in the urban areas. I am from WWF. We mainly work in rural areas. We are improving how we connect in the urban areas. Now with that, Peter, you've listened to Sheila. You've seen the videos. When you are designing Voices for Just Climate Action funding, they give us 55 million, 5 years. That's why we are able to do all this. Did you have all this in mind? What shapes your decision making?
Thank you for inviting us here, and I really appreciate you bringing the local voices forward, and actually putting me on stage and not saying too much, because I think we should listen more instead of sending messages from our perspective. We should listen to people like the people we've seen in the videos and others, because oftentimes we come in with the perception that we think we know what needs to be done. So thank you for putting that center stage and for giving the partners that represent the grassroots level the first voice. I don't think we always have this perspective, in all honesty. So bringing this with the non-commercial advertisement sauce over it, I think is a good thing. I think we can do more on our end to convey this message to the other people, the policymakers, our senior management, the politicians, parliament, because we're driven by our system. And that's where these two worlds sometimes don't meet, in all honesty, because I've been advocating to do less multilaterally and more locally, but it comes with challenges. And I don't think we will have the time, and I won't bore you with all of those challenges, but I think it's a bit of an uphill battle, and these perspectives help to change that narrative. And I think the other thing we should do is be patient in a fast world. I think we should also be honest in a highly complex, challenging world with crises everywhere, that some of the money that's coming from us, and I think we should move away from the donor paradigm. Instead of speaking as we are donors, we should be development partners. I really think that we should be partners. And you have all different types of partners. But then to say, also back to our parliament, where we report on the funding that we give, to say that sometimes it hasn't maybe achieved the results that we thought, because the world isn't plannable according to our norms, that we should understand that it's hyper complex and it's hyper challenging, and that sometimes it's honest to say that something maybe failed, but then highlight that other stuff has worked. I think that perspective is super important.
Great, Peter. Really, thank you. And I really appreciate what Peter says. He is really a partner in VCA. He keeps telling us VCA, the cornerstone of VCA is an adaptive management. We should adjust. The best is what is important. Now let me take it back to us. We have some more minutes, Charlotte, because I think Peter has highlighted an important thing, that they are technical people. They also have to influence their policymakers to decide how to do what we want to do. How can we help you, Peter? How can we help you, Genevieve? Because this panel is about flipping and saying we can have solutions as people from below to work with you. How do we do this? Because this has been said. What can we do within DCA, with other partners here? What can we do to help you? You want to say that, Margaret, and then maybe Sheila?
Okay, thank you very much. So I really like the parts where you said there has to be some sort of partnership rather than you walking.
Margaret, 1 minute.
Rather than you walking to the partner, to the donor. So we talk about it. Rather than wait for announcements, you let us know if there's anything. So we have that conversation. We don't need to wait for there to be a funding announcement before we now try to see how we can reach out to it. But we already have an existing relationship. You let us know what you're going on. We even can suggest ways on how to go about it and how to make sure that we all have access to that money. So,
Sheila, you want 1 minute to add to that? How can we help Peter and Genevieve and other donors, funders?
Partnerships take a lot of commitment. Everybody expects everybody else to be a good partner. What about you? Are you a good partner?
Yes.
And that's important. Do you make time to understand somebody else's perspective? Do you know how to negotiate for a collective agreement to something? We all come from completely different worlds. How do we agree to something that we collectively believe in? It takes time, and we always don't have time. We're so busy.
Yes.
God knows what we do, but we are so busy. And I think that that communities have taught me, stop bullshitting. Don't give me these big words. Tell me in simple terms. If I tell you that I have made a mistake, do you have the guts to accept that I have made a mistake? Will you help me or will you dump me?
Yeah.
Because we all make mistakes. So these are the qualities of good friendship, trust, partnerships that can see us through this process. And I think that's what we have to explore.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Partnerships, this is not the start. This year is a platform, 5 years. We agreed it's a movement. It's not ending in 5 years. It's going forward because we have to be at it. Let's listen to the last session of the video.
To accelerate and help and intervene in the situation.
Hello, my name is Wilanji Sinyangwe and I want to share with you about the Kasisi Agriculture Training Center, which provides agriculture training, research and marketing support to over 10,000 small-scale farmers in Chongwe and Rufunsa districts of Zambia. So due to high demand of charcoal and firewood, the area has suffered wide-scale deforestation. These issues have further been exacerbated by oncoming climate change-induced challenges, including drought. Therefore, the training center focuses on teaching and supporting the implementation of land restoration and sustainable agriculture techniques, which include crop rotation, intercropping, composting, and agroforestry. These efforts have helped increase diversity and food security. So many countries lack sufficient robust agriculture extension services to assist small-scale farmers. Therefore, upscaling this initiative is beneficial to many countries. The only challenge is that it relies heavily on donor funding.
Through PPHPZ and SDI, we came with an initiative whereby we came across to start doing backyard sack gardening. The outcome of this project, through Women Federation, it has helped us because about 1,500 women were trained on backyard gardening. And each and every one, they have managed to have this to plant vegetables at backyards, and also we are given some loans. We got some loans, which has made each and everyone to be able to acquire seed for planting. We are looking forward for political will to to accelerate and help and intervene in the situation. Also, looking at land issues, we also need more support in terms of finances, more sensitization to come on ground so that more green spaces are built in all various settlements so that we can achieve our goal.
Deforestation due to sugarcane growing in the Lake Victoria Basin is a growing challenge, causing hunger, poverty and drought. This is due to the fact that sugarcanes don't intercrop with trees, and the shift of farmers from food crops to growing sugarcane has created a food crisis of its own. We are losing millions of trees every year to this challenge. That's why Catamaran Innovation Group has come up to mobilize farmers back to agroforestry, which enables them to earn income from the trees while growing food at the same time. Our main focus is on growing fruit trees, which provide both the income and the protection to the environment. We aim to plant at least 50 million trees in the next 5 years.
Hello everyone, my name is Manasiti Omar. I'm from Kajiado County, Kenya. Our local solution is known as Greening the Asphalt. It is located in the drylands of Magadi in Kajiado County, Kenya, and this solution involves the local communities, especially women, the local administration, as well as the community group plans. Our local nature-based solution aims to help the local communities mitigate and build resilience to droughts that has become persistent due to climate change. Through the agroforestry technique, we plant both trees and crops and fruits. The trees help in fixing the soil as well as acting as carbon sinks. It also provides shade under the hot conditions while also providing herbal medicine and pesticides. The fruits and crops improve food security and ensures that the community have food on their table. The biggest challenge we face in scaling up our initiative is the lack of financial, technical and human resource. First, the issue of the invasive species, and in our case, the Prosopis juliflora. Thank you for watching our video.
Hoje no Brasil são mais de 300 espécies de abelhas sem ferrão. São abelhas nativas, já estavam aqui muito antes dos colonizadores chegarem, assim como os povos indígenas. E no Brasil vem crescendo muito a produção de abelha sem ferrão. Além dela ser nativa também, ela tem várias propriedades específicas, né? Ela é uma abelha que não ferra, então o manejo facilita por isso, ela não ferra, não tem ferrão. Então é uma cadeia de produção que vai desde o mel, passa pelo pólen, o próprio própolis e a própria colmeia também, né, que a gente pode estar comercializando. E a gente também trabalha muito na questão da abelha junto com os safos, porque a abelha ela trabalha com a polinização. A melípona ela é mais eficiente do que a apis, né? Ela pode também contribuir com a polinização, né, das plantas. Então a gente ter os safos associados com a abelha pode trazer benefícios para a produção, né, de plantas, de frutas e madeireira também. O trabalho que a gente vê aqui, o que a gente desenvolve lá, ele é importante não só para a nossa família, mas também é uma forma de mostrar para o mundo como a gente pode sobreviver em harmonia com a floresta, né? Sem destruir, sem desmatar e sem ajudar, né, a floresta a se regenerar, a reconstruir, reflorestando áreas que estão degradadas, trabalhando no melhoramento de terra. E isso contribui não só para a gente, para a nossa vida, mas também para o mundo todo. A gente hoje ensina de uma forma sustentável como é sobreviver dentro da floresta.
Hello everyone, my name is Juliet Grace-Luede and I am an environmentalist from Uganda. Due to lack of access to land, many Ugandans have found themselves encroaching on wetlands for both human settlement and various unregulated farming activities. Mbologoma catchment area is one of Uganda's wetlands that has not been spared. Eco Trust, a non-profit conservation organization, is supporting the government of Uganda to restore wetlands and associated catchments in the Choga water management zone through sustainable land management practices. Through climate-resilient agricultural practices, communities around Mbologoma wetland have been able to adapt alternative livelihoods through the growing of vegetables such as carrots, tomatoes, and spinach that they are now able to sell and sustain their incomes. With these eco-friendly initiatives, the communities around the Mpologna catchment area are now able to use the wetlands around them in a more sustainable and eco-friendly way.
Pakuti fye tubon fye tu shite fertilizer iya kumanisha garden yonse wale shupikwa wala bika for one side garden ya shara one side nishi one side fyala onaika one side fyala kitako buno pa no mlando wa fertilizer kuchepera ndeto tapaka bungo kaza ikala fingi ifili mwasa tuleli mefia pisana ifia pala cabbage onioni na lepu fyonse tubonfya ni manyuwa tuleteke nshimu nga twateke nshimu twafunyamo ubuchi tulashitisha ngakabungo kaza ikala nga twashitisha tulekala pamono kwaka na shirie ndalama kaifuti akabungo kaza ikerekere kai tusambirisha ukusunga ifimuti.
Estamos no 5º grito ancestral.
E nós estamos nos mobilizando de várias formas. E uma dessas formas de mobilização é o grito ancestral.
É um ato de a gente agrupar o nosso povo e ir à luta, dizer ao Estado brasileiro que nós, povos indígenas, que nós, povos que vivemos aqui no Tapajós, a gente não está aceitando o que está acontecendo com o nosso rio Tapajós.
Então a gente tem sentido na nossa pele, no nosso corpo, nas nossas vidas, essa pressão. A gente vivencia hoje a contaminação do rio Tapajós pelo mercúrio, a contaminação às águas, mas os peixes e os nossos corpos. A gente vê todos os dias comboios de balsa levando a madeira, minério, né, o que eles chamam de recurso natural, que é para nós parte da mãe terra, parte da nossa vida. É de fundamental importância para a manutenção do equilíbrio climático dos ecossistemas. Então a gente precisa cada vez mais nos posicionar sobre isso.
Thank you. We have 8 minutes sharp. And I would like to use this moment to just have a few, 1 or 2 contributions from the floor. Because again, we are saying for us as Voices for Just Climate Action, that this is a movement. We are 6 alliance partners. But as you can see, we are connecting widely. It's a collective movement and we come together. So you are part of us. Share ideas, tangible solutions on how we move forward from here, especially through Peter and Genevieve are representatives of the people we are targeting. So let's help them. 1 or 2 contributions. Can you help me, Charlotte, to take the microphone around, please? Thank you. 1 or 2? 2. Before we conclude. Yeah, there's a hand here. Here. She put up her hand. And then, I saw you in the video. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to even participate. My idea is coming from a pastoralist community where every narrative is talking badly about pastoralist community emissions. So I'm wondering how best can you assist pastoralist community to restore their drylands, especially from the northern part of Kenya, and also how best can we use our livestock products, I mean the droppings, to make commercial organic fertilizers. And also we have a lot of invasive plants like Juliflora, I've seen it there, and also cactus. How do we make use of cactus? Because we can make juice, we can make wine, and also make biogas out of that. Thank you.
Can we hear someone else? Again, we are providing them solutions, not what can we do. Okay? Yes. Next, yes. And then Faith, final.
Okay, thank you. I'm Saber from Tunisia. VCA is making lots of noise in Tunisia. We are now trying to fight with the Environment Ministry. We are trying to change the environmental code to implicate more the municipalities and the locals there. We are working with municipalities to implement their local action plan, and also we are building coalition called the Climate Action Tunisia. I salute you from Tunisia. We are trying to make our best in the MENA region. Tunisia is an African country, belong to the MENA region too. We have lots of danger, the water scarcity, and there is big problem there. We are trying our best. We will do our best. We thank you for your support. Thank you.
Yeah, so you're just thanking them. Faith, I hope you're proposing a solution for us.
Yes. Thank you very much for
1 minute.
Your very insightful thoughts. I think for me, my solution is rather political, because when you think about all the solutions that are being shared, and you think about the need for finance, we need to also think about the fact that there are systemic issues that are actually hindering these solutions from being scaled up. And so for me, the solution would be in terms of, and it's really also a question, in terms of what are you doing to advance what we would call a feminist foreign policy, to look at how we are able to center the most marginalized, those at the front line of the crisis, those that have been left out of decision-making conversations. So for me, that would be my question, because as a feminist coming from Akina Mama Africa, for me, my solution is feminist approaches. Let's adopt feminist approaches, center those, and I liked Peter, what you said, that some of these issues you're seeing here do not usually inform some of the decisions that you make. But if you adopted a feminist policy, a feminist approach, that would solve some of these issues that you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm going to end here because we have to conclude. This is the start of a discussion. This here is a network. The conversation is going to continue online. So I'm going to go to the panel and ask you, okay, 1 second, 1 minute. We can't hear.
I'm so, I wanted to talk so much because my initiative was showcased here.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to give a solution to the donors.
Okay.
We're running a grassroots organization and doing grassroots work, but then we don't get those tailor-made solutions for grassroots organization. We apply for funding day in, day out. We are rejected. Our solutions cannot be scaled up because there's a lot of requirements from the side of the donors. So I think it would be important for them to also tailor-make solution funding opportunities or parks for organizations like ours, which are small, and we also need capacity building apart from just the finances.
Fantastic. 1 minute each to conclude by our panelists with what we had, and as we speak, what are we going to do after here? That's the point, because we are not going to finish here. Yeah, Sheila, 1 minute.
You have an amazing range of people doing very different things. You have to create conditions for them to be able to talk to each other and support each other. We in STI have learnt more from each other than from everybody else, because nobody knows our challenges more than others like ourselves. And I think that right now, when you still have another 4 years, you start looking at how you're going to create institutional arrangements that will continue to support all these initiatives when the funding for the project is over. Because God help you, we will all come and bite you to say you have given us so much excitement, so much support. Now don't run away and do some other project.
Okay. Sheila,
we do it together.
Exactly. Sheila, we are in it together. So it's not me as WWF. We are in it together as VCA. So yes, let's work on that, definitely. Peter.
I like that. Sheila's going to bite us. So, no, I think maybe to answer some of these questions or the solutions, I think for us, policymakers behind desks in big buildings, I think we need to go and visit on the ground, right? More than less. And we need to think about our carbon offsetting, obviously, but we get big reports, fancy reports, which tell great stories. But for them to come alive, we need to actually be in contact with all these people. And it's not possible to probably meet all of them, but I think we should do more to really understand the people behind the stories and their challenges and their solutions. Yeah. So that would be my takeaway, and not just from me, but the people that are maybe less convinced even.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Genevieve, we were talking with Peter, he's a partner. And he told us when we write, they will archive. We need to find innovative ways of communicating. And this is really important. I took it away with our discussion. Genevieve.
Yeah, I mean, just to build off of that, I mean, obviously could not agree more. I think that, we also, some of it has to be on the ground in person, but we also have to find ways to get as many voices into the process as possible. And I think your point that partnership really starts with listening. We have to have more listening sessions in defining how we implement. And it's not just, I think, about the announcements. It is fundamentally about how we create these programs together. We just finished defining a climate strategy that we sort of developed through a huge number of listening sessions, but that's a starting point. The only way that's meaningful is if the implementation part of that is actually also based on listening sessions. And usually the listening sessions end when the strategy process is over. True. So I think, fundamentally, if we can take this and create genuine opportunities for those listening sessions, and it should be framed that way. It's a dialogue, but it should start with listening, right? So that's my one takeaway. But there are so many more. This has been really great. Thank you so much.
This is a start. We are continuing with Genevieve and others.
All right, so I know with your donor, there are systems that you need to follow. That's why some people are unable to have access to it. What you can do is make sure that they're flexible. And when you see that there's an organization that has the capacity or the ability to harness these resources, you need to help them reach that potential to access the resource. You don't just throw them away that you don't have it, so I'm not giving it to you. If they need capacity, if maybe it's books, how to account for something, build that capacity. Let them reach that point where your system can have them archive their works so that they can also have access to these resources. That's all I'll say. Be flexible and make sure that those who have the potential are able to have access to that money.
Thank you very much. A lot has been said, but like I said, this is a start. This is going to continue. We are lucky we have this program for another 5 years. We are already talking. This is a start. Genevieve, we need your network to grow this. This cannot end in 5 years. As Sheila said, we need commitment. We need long term. We need to listen. So VCA already has a platform. Please reach out, connect more. VCA is about local solutions, amplifying them, showing that they are diverse and there are people who are there. Our biggest challenge that we are trying to engage the most is financing reaching. We want to unblock those structural barriers that are disabling the financing to reach. Most importantly, it's us who are providing the solutions. Okay? Let us come out in an empowered way to provide the solutions. So with that, I would like to close and thank you so much and emphasize that this is just the start. Before I close, I would like to invite Tandiwe. Where are you? Okay, Tandiwe. Tandiwe, just stand up and wave to the team. Tandiwe is the director of the Voices for Just Climate Action. So she's responsible for all this. She directs us, she guides us. And I would also like to invite the VCA partners. I know many of you are partners, but there are 6 partners in particular with which we coordinate this. Akina Mama Africa, our feminist lead on this, she's there. Avina, our partner who works on coalitions. Yes. South, South, North, our knowledge brokers. She is there, Charlotte. Who am I leaving out? Slum Dwellers International, of course. Sheila, who is the others? Now, of course, WWF. Can you please stand up? WWF. Yes. Okay. It's a big coalition and we're going to extend this. Thank you very much. Dana will kill me. I need to stop here. So because there's another session here. Let's connect after here. Thank you so much for your active participation.
Well done.